Hello and welcome back to another episode of GameHammer Extra, where we're doing a pickups video. And it's been a while since we had a pickups video because basically I try to eke these out once a month at the most, so that I don't overwhelm you with, we got more stuff, you know, actually just get it packaged together into one big lump. Speaking of big lumps, last time I can't remember whether I talked about this one. Sonic Spinball. So we got this a while back, and it's been a while since I've had one of these videos because I got very, very ill. You might notice that I've got a few marks on my lips because of just illness. It's just how it is. But, yeah, Sonic Spinball. Actually, not a bad pinball game on the Mega Drive. I had a lot of fun with that. I've been playing it a fair bit. Not very good at it yet, but it's nice to have it. So, let's roll the credits, and then we'll get into it. So I'm going to start with a few things I've picked up at local charity shops when I've been out and about after I started to recover. And let's have a look at the first one. Harvest Moon. Yeah, Harvest Moon Sky Tree Village on Nintendo 3DS. First 3DS game I've ever picked up. Weird looking box, isn't it? Like, what's with the bits? I don't get it, but you know, really thin, not much on them. That's apparently the manual. Yeah. Standards have gone downhill with games, let's put it that way. But this is the first time I've seen a 3DS cartridge. And it's interesting that you literally could not put that into a standard DS because of the extra bit on the side. I'll show you a DS game in a moment because I did pick another one up. And here it is, My Health Coach. Now this should come with a pedometer for monitoring your health. I picked it up though because the box is in excellent condition, the case is in excellent condition, and you're not going to find that around. I could pick a pedometer up for it fairly cheap, but you can now see the game, that's the idea. And then you see the 3DS one for the Harvest Moon game. Notice that they're almost the same size, except there's a little tab sticking out. So it would not be possible to put this into a standard DS. That's kind of the idea. It's this little marker. So that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Let's turn the light back on so you can see me. Some of you will go, no, we don't want to. But, you know, these things happen. So, yeah, that's interesting. First 3DS game I've seen. Don't have a 3DS yet, but it's nice to have a fun game that I can sit and enjoy just whiling away the hours when I'm watching TV or something like that. Once I get one, that's the plan. I did that a lot with Animal Crossing when I first got the Switch. So, let's move on to something very cool as well. Shadow of the Beast. How early 90s is that cover. So this is really just trying to really go for, hey, young kids, young boys, you like the stuff that looks like an explosion in a design factory, so come and play this. It's got a manual, and the actual game is really good condition. I've been playing Shadow of the Beast a little bit, and it's one of those games where they really went all in on graphics regardless of anything else. That's pretty much the peak of it, because it really is graphics, gameplay secondary concern. It's not a bad game, but yeah, it really is graphics above everything else. Speaking of games though, finally got myself a working wireless controller for the PlayStation 2, so really happy with this. It's good quality. It's got the dongle that goes to it there. You plug that into the usual control thing and beep, 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 beep. Works perfectly. Been playing a lot of Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast on my big screen TV in the lounge. Finally able to actually sit back on my chair and relax and play a game because the wires wouldn't go that far before. So that's a good one. And just in case I need to ever play the arcade games down there with my big arcade stick, I also got an extension cord. So yeah, that's a little bit behind the scenes stuff in terms of me being able to play stuff and enjoy it in an environment that's not just necessarily in this office for recording stuff. But I think it's improved my gaming life because I can sit and play through games in a more relaxed environment when I'm not getting the footage for making a review or doing a show on an evening with you guys. So I'm happy with that. But here's a weird thing. With this My Health Coach thing, it's got the cardboard insert for the pedometer. It doesn't have the pedometer itself. This game was also just slipped in there. I don't know what it's about in terms of why that happened. But yeah, I've got another copy of Brain Training in a little case. Like, this thing is tiny. It's like an old tiny Game Boy case for the cartridge. So that's interesting. So I've got 2 copies of Brain Training now. I'm trained 2 brains, no waiting. Won't complain, free game, you know. And then, of course, since I had Shadow of the Beast, I did Shadow of the Beast 2. I actually think this one's better than the first one. It addresses some of the issues with the first one, where it's a very linear game. You have to do certain things in a certain order in order to progress. This one is still very much you have to do certain things, but not necessarily all in one specific order. You can do bits, and then go on to the next bit. So I've been playing that, and this one's a lot more fun. I don't know why, it just sort of works better from my gameplay style. Been really enjoying that, but it's not all, because I have been picking up a fair amount of stuff. Basically, Jen and I have been laid up ill for a month. I fell ill just before New Year's Eve, and that's why we didn't have the New Year's Eve party that we normally do with a live stream party, that kind of thing. But as a result, I've been bored to tears and want to play games. And this one got recommended to me as one that I should have in the collection. Of course, PlayStation 2, I'm going to have it in the collection eventually. But it was mentioned, there were only a couple of copies, so I managed to pick up Snowcross 2 for PlayStation 2. This is race, win, and buy the ultimate snowmobile in this amazing adrenaline-filled race to become the world's best snowcross champion. Yeah, basically it's a snowcross racing game. Been having a bit of fun with it. It's not bad, actually. I'm glad it was recommended to me. But here's a weird one. Like, I thought I already had Tour de France, and in fact, I do. It's almost certainly right next to me as I talk. Where's Tour de France? There it is. Yes, I can literally just reach over and grab it. Well, I could if it would come out of the shelf. I'll cut this bit so it looks really, really seamless. See? Seamless. So, Tour de France, I thought, I've already got that. And then Jen pointed out that there's another one. Tour de France Centenary Edition. So yeah, it's Tour de France again. Not the best racing game I've ever seen, but it's interesting to race bikes rather than motorbikes or cars. So yeah, it's actually alright. But Jen got me a lovely Christmas present. Zeus. Or Exius, or Exeus. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but it says Zeus from my point of view. This is a giant robot flying around in a Space Harrier clone style of game. So it's basically Space Harrier with giant robots and power-ups, and it's actually a lot of fun. I really like this. I've been playing a fair amount of that over the Christmas period, so that was fun. But it's not the only thing, because I did get a bit of money for Christmas, and given that I love my games, I thought, what would be the best way to get the most out of this in terms of games? So, SNK Arcade Classics Volume 1. I don't think there's actually a Volume 2 in the UK. So, Volume 1 of SNK Arcade Classics. What have we got in here? Art of Fighting, Baseball Stars 2, Burning Fight, Fatal Fury, King of the Monsters, Last Resort, Magician Lord, Metal Slug. Already got Metal Slug on the Metal Slug Anthology, but nice to have another option. Neo Turf Masters, Samurai Showdown, Sengoku, Shock Troopers, Super Sidekicks 3, King of the Fighters 94, Top Hunter, World Heroes. A lot of fighting games, but Magician Lord, I've been having a lot of fun with that, and of course Metal Slug. First thing I did is put in Metal Slug, because it's a good way of testing the quality of what emulator this would be using, because these are of course all ROMs running on a Neo Geo emulator on these PlayStation 2. So I compared it with Metal Slug Anthology, perfectly fine. Great, this is great fun. I know that the Wii version of it, there's complaints of slowdown, but absolutely none on the PlayStation as far as I could see. And also, Wipeout Pulse. Played this a bit with the wireless controller. Played a bit of this. Perfectly fine as well. I am terrible at the game, but it perfectly works perfectly fine. Really good fun. Futuristic racer. Love it. everyone knows Wipeout. Wipeout Pulse is the later one for the PlayStation 2. Really, really enjoyed it. But even that's not all, because I did find some other stuff while I was out and about, looking around in various places. So back to the charity shops, and I'm corpsing a bit while I pick up the stuff that I've dropped. Lego Movie, the video game. I do like my Lego games. Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4, which, yeah, not a fan of the author, but the games are actually pretty good. And then Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare on Xbox One. I already have the Xbox 360 version. Nice to be able to compare it now with the Xbox One version. Really happy to add those to the set, of course. But even that wasn't it, because finally, I've been waiting for this for 2 years. I've had the alert on CEX for years, trying to get a copy of what I'm going to show you now. I've already got the game, but I needed the accessories to be able to play the game. Turns out the accessories are truly, truly atrocious, but it's nice to actually have it. I got an alert one time in those 2 years, and by the time I saw the email alert and went to buy it, someone else had already got there before me. So I put the alert back on and finally got there, put the order in first thing in the morning, and it was picked and I got it sent. Real Play Racing with the steering wheel and the dongle. How good is that? Now, unfortunately, it was already open when I got it because, yeah, it has been used. So I was able to play it, and it turns out it's atrocious. I cannot for the life of me compliment a game that is this bad, because it barely works. When it does work, it's not worth it. And on my slimline PS2, it doesn't even acknowledge the controller's there. It searches for it and can't see it. It's one of those style games that's just, yeah. But it's nice to have it in the collection. What can I say? It's that bad. It really is. I cannot say anything good about it because there is nothing good to say about it. But here's the thing. That's not all. Because, well, you might remember a while back now, I bought 2 computers off Sir Patrick. A long-time friend of the channel, Sir Patrick Furlong, and I bought 2 computers off him. He found a load of games and other stuff that he says should have been bundled with the computers when I bought them, so he sent them on. Now, I didn't think anything of it when they turned up without this stuff, because it wasn't in the photos he showed me when I was buying it, so if he hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have known. But it's nice that he was upfront and honest and said, look, this is stuff that I meant to sell with the computer, so here it is. So, I bought an Atari 8-bit computer and a Acorn Electron. I was going to say a BBC Micro, it's not. An Acorn Electron. So he sent off stuff for that, including the manual for the Atari 400 and 800. The one that I've got is an 800, and it's nice to actually have this. The operator's manual with all sorts of stuff in it, basic reference and all of that. Yeah, it tells you all about all the stuff to do with it. So yeah, really, really impressed with the quality of this. It's nice. It's a fold out, so it sits on your desk thing, which is really good, because the last thing you want is to be trying to hold the book open with one hand and type with the other. I've done that with manuals before. It's not a good thing. I like ring-bound stuff, so it's nice that it is. But that wasn't all that was in it. Because he also sent Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4 on the DS. I am surrounded by Lego Harry Potter at the moment. Well, how weird is that? Nice though, nice though. He also sent, and I'm going to lean forward to grab these, a load of Doctor Who audiobooks. Yeah, load of them. So I've got to find one of those, you know, CD folders that I can set these all in. So that'll be nice. Jen and I will enjoy those while we're travelling around the country, because one of the things that we want to do more of this year and into the future is travel to various places for the vlogs, for Jen's channel on model railways and things like that. So having something to listen to in the car as we go would be great. And we both love Doctor Who, so yeah, that's great. But that's not all. Let's have a look at the other stuff that I sent. Desk diary, and me and my micro for the Acorn Electron, Desk Diary is a cassette, so is me and my micro. They just sit in the things. It's an interesting design. It kind of says, look, these are quality. That's what the big boxes were for back in the 80s. That's how it worked. Amstrad did the same thing. They had these huge boxes that you opened up and there was a tiny cassette inside. It's like, super disappointment. The introductory cassette for the Acorn Electron, of course. An interesting box here. Starship Command. Now, this one doesn't have the game in it, but I'm sure I can find a copy if I'm that interested. No game in it. It appears to be a Space Invaders or Asteroid style game, so that'll be interesting. But this is the one that really interests me. View. This is a word processor. View, a word processor for the Acorn Electron. That's literally what it says. But this isn't a cassette. This is serious stuff. Serious. Serious. Nice big ring-bound manual and a cartridge. It sits in the cartridge slot, which is very cool. I don't know if all Acorns had a cartridge slot. I can't remember. I think they might have. Like, it's stuck on the back like the Commodore 64. But I know that if you had the expansion thing, which I've got, I would get it out and show you, but I've shown you it in previous videos. Then you can stick the cartridge into the top. So that's nice. But even that's not all. Because we found some DS games in a charity shop. Tiger Woods, which I'm looking forward to playing. That'll be very nice. My Horse and Me, which, yeah, that'd be interesting to have a look at. But the one that really, really caught my attention. Metroid Prime Hunters First Hunt. But this is not the game. This is a demo. I have never seen a demo for a DS game before. And it's like the full thing. And it's a demo. I really need to see how this works, and that's going to be very interesting to have a GameHammer episode on. I don't know whether it'll be a full GameHammer episode or whether I'll do it as a GameHammer extra, a bit more talking to camera, freeform like I'm doing here. But that will be interesting. We're going to have a look at that. But even that's not everything. Premier Manager on the Mega Drive. I played Premier Manager a lot on PC back in the day, so it'll be interesting to see how this fares compared to the game that I had on PC. Actually, I only had the demo for the longest time ever, like ridiculous amount of time. I just had the demo of the Premier Manager on a floppy disk that I got off an issue of PC Action magazine, which no one seems to remember. It had like 10 issues and then disappeared. It's ridiculous. No one has copies of it online. I've got to do a video about it, because I've got some in the corner over there, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 issues of it. And it was a great magazine, but no one talks about it. The scans aren't available of it online. It's ridiculous. A good quality cartridge. Looking forward to giving this a try. It's going to be fun. I used to love Premier Manager. It was a great fun game. Championship Manager was good as well. But even this isn't all. I'm going to move a few things out. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to take a quick break and make sure that all these games don't fall over. And we're back. Very, very quick for you, but took a little bit more time for me. So let's get straight into it. Dynamite Headdy on the Mega Drive. These are still from Sir Patrick. And these were a surprise because I didn't know he was sending any of this stuff. So, Dynamite Headdy on Mega Drive. Looking forward to giving that a try. I think it'll be fun. I believe it's by Treasure, and it's one of their classic ones, basically. Also, Disney's Bonkers. I have no idea what this is. I remember Bonk's Adventure on Turbo Graphics, but I don't know what this is. So, again, gonna have a bit of fun on that one, see what happens. Then we get into old, like 8-bit cassettes games. Winter Olympics for the BBC or Electron. So BBC Micro and Acorn Electron on one cassette, very nice. Tubin on the Amstrad, I believe. No, Commodore 64. Tubin on Commodore 64. Gonna be an interesting one to see that. Tubin's one of those weird games that back in the day, it was very, very popular for about 5 minutes. And Dizzy Down the Rapids even was a clone of it. And it was odd. It was just an odd game, but you know, these things happen. Speaking of odd though, what the hell is this? You might be asking. Does this look to you like it's the case for, how can I put it? One of those LCD games, maybe one of those really early versions, what was it? I wish I could remember what it was, like the Micronics or something. It's in Friday the 13th Part 2, I believe. Yeah. A very, very old game. This looks like one of those, like the case for an LCD game, but it's not. This is the case for a Commodore 64 game. Yeah, it's a cassette case. Weird. Again, it's all about trying to demonstrate the idea of value. Because if you're just buying a game and it's in a little cassette, it doesn't look as valuable or as worthwhile for a higher price, you know, as something in an interesting box. Monty on the Run for the Commodore 64? No, for the Atari XL or XE, a 64 kilobyte 8-bit Atari computer. Yeah, this one is the Silly Venture 2019 edition, so it's very new. Very interesting. Commodore 64 cassette from the cover of a magazine, CF, so Commodore format, yeah, Commodore format, 2 complete games, Ant Attack and Maze Mania, plus 2 demos of Board the Alien and Catalypse. No idea what those are, but you know, I love old cassettes like this. You get demos that are slightly different to actual finished products and stuff like that. Love it. Great piece of video game history. We also get a Quattro cartoon collection, Wizard Willy, Little Puff, Ollie and Lisa 3, and Frankenstein Jr. I have played 2 of those games on Amstrad, so it'll be very interesting to compare them when we get to covering those on GameHammer. This one's interesting. Boom Classics. What on earth is this? Well, I'll tell you. It's by Axsoft International, a classical Space Invader type game. It's a Space Invaders clone. And that is for the MSX, which would be nice. I've got to wire up this year a modified power supply adapter for my MSX. I've got the Toshiba CX5M version of the MSX. It's the one that you can plug a keyboard into because it's got a built-in MIDI synthesizer and things like that. So, or at least if not synthesizer, MIDI interface. And I went for that one because it's one of those hard to get rare MSXs. So when I eventually put the museum together, people are going to go, what is that? I need to see it and I need to try it. That's the idea. But in order to get one of these things, I had to go for what was available. And what was available was one that didn't have a power supply anymore. It had either broken up and lost it since the 80s. And here's the thing, you can modify a ZX Spectrum Plus 3 power supply to fit the MSX, this particular MSX, so I've got to do that this year. I haven't yet. But when I do, we've got Space Invaders to play on it. Scooby-Doo for Commodore 64, very interesting. BMX Simulator for the Atari, very nice. Spy vs. Spy for the Commodore 64. I played Spy vs. Spy so much as a kid. I have the Amstrad version. My friend Matthew and I, he doesn't talk to me anymore. I haven't seen him for years. He went off to London to become a musician. And that was the last time I spoke to him. I know he's still around. I just haven't spoken to him. We lost touch. It's funny how that happens over the years. But yeah, Matthew and I, we used to play Spy vs. Spy a lot. It was Spy vs. Spy and Gauntlet 2. We used to play it so much. Great games. Really good fun. But that's not all. Hungry Horace for the Commodore 64. Hungry Horace being a Pac-Man clone. I have actually covered... I think I've covered all the Horace games in the past for the Spectrum. It'd be nice to do an update where we can cover that one. That'll be very interesting. Got one here called Collapse, and it's got a bear that looks like someone's just spiked it up the bottom. I don't know what's going on there. What is this? It's by Firebird. It looks like some weird budget game. Yeah, that'll be interesting to have a look at. It's for the Commodore. We'll have a try of that sometime. Got another one here, the Quattro Combat set for the Commodore 64 this time, where we've got, what is this, Thunderbolt, SAS Combat Simulator, Ninja Massacre. That sounds really wholesome and family friendly, doesn't it? And Arcade Flight Simulator. Arcade Flight Simulator sounds interesting, but it's not what I would call a flight sim. It's what I would call a Gauntlet clone. Very, very interesting. I'm going to have a look at that one on a GameHammer, definitely. Possibly a GameHammer Live, where we just play it as a request thing, I don't know. Then we've got, for the Acorn Electron, 3D Bomb Alert. No, 3D Bomb Alley. No idea what this is. I'm going to assume it's some kind of Canyon Bomb. Oh, no. I thought it was going to be something like Canyon Bomber, the old, really, really old Atari game. But no. Okay, that does look more 3D. It's got a very interesting look to it. So, I don't know what this'll... We're going to have to play it. When I get the Atari powered up and load up that'll be very interesting. I don't know what it is. Very interesting. Bit of a surprise, that one. Continental Circus on Commodore 64. Interesting. I think this might be one of those where the Commodore 64 racing game actually works. A lot of the time, the arcade clones of racing games didn't work as well on the Commodore 64. I don't know what it is about the C64 that didn't work as well as the ZX Spectrum on the Amstrad for certain types of racing game. Because I would have thought the C64 would have been perfectly suited to racing games. But it never seemed to work out like that. I think this is either one of the examples where it was done really right or done really badly. Either way, we are going to cover it because Continental Circus is a classic and I do want to cover that on a main GameHammer game. Next up for the Atari, we have Ninja. Just plain Ninja. Yeah, looks a little bit like the cover of American Ninja, the film, which is hilarious if you ever get to see it. So, get some friends around, get some beers and watch American Ninja. It is hilariously stupid. You will have a great time. There's one bit where a guy just disappears. He uses a ninja disappearing ability just because he wasn't in the next fight scene. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm going to have a good go on that. That'll be fun. Then we have a one called Mr. Freeze for the Commodore 64, which to me, to my eyes, looks like it's a Spectrum game. C64 can do better graphics than that. I don't know what this is about. Looks a little bit like a Roland Goes Digging Space Patrol, I think it is. No, Space Panic. The original game was Space Panic that Roland Goes Digging was based off. Looks a little bit like that. It'd be very interesting to compare and contrast, let's put it that way. Another of the Codemasters Quattro set. Quattro Coin-Ops. So these are all arcade-style games. Pinball Simulator, Fruit Machine, Pub Trivia, and Fast Food. Okay, Pinball Simulator, looking forward to that one. Fast Food Dizzy, pretty good game. Pub Trivia Quiz Simulator. And a Fruit Machine Sim, not my thing, but we'll try them. Next up, bit cut out the bottom of there. Don't know why. This is... Oh... That's interesting. It's a Night Law, John Rittman Batman style isometric puzzle adventure game. That'll be interesting. I do like that kind of game. There's one game that I need to do. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. It's on Game Boy. Monster Max. I love that game. I've got it on Game Boy. I can plug it into the Super Nintendo via the Game Boy adapter for that, or I can use the GameCube with the Game Boy player to get a copy onto the screen so we can play it either on the GameHammer Live or as a full GameHammer review. We will be doing that. I definitely need to do it. It's a fun game and we need to talk about that. Next up though, American football on the Amstrad. Not one that I'm a big fan of. Not really a big fan of the American footballs type of games. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is also the one where... If this isn't the one that Amsoft also had a copy of, which it does look it from the back, if that is the case and it's very similar to or even the same game as the Amsoft version, then you can't play it on a CPC 464 without taking the disk drive interface off the back, because it tries to write to a part of the memory that is allocated to the disk drive and can't be overwritten. So it breaks. But if it's not, then we'll definitely see about that, because that was just hilarious when I found that out. Slightly Magic for the Commodore 64. This is one of the standard Codemaster style graphic adventures. Really looking forward to playing this. I played it once a long time ago and thought it looked great, but didn't really get that far into it. I have to play this. Have to play it, have to finish it, need to do that. Another one where we've got Commodore formats cover. This is complete games of Sun, Star and Shockwave Rider. Shockwave Rider I have played and reviewed on GameHammer. It is a fantastic game. If you get a chance, play it. It's a lot of fun. Then we've got 2 playable demos of Warlock and Viz. Now Viz, it says it's censored. And this is why I like stuff like this. Again, like I said, you get demos that sometimes change before you get to see them in the full game itself. But this is something different. It's clearly censored. And whether it's censored for the cover or it was censored for the full game, I don't know. But they've made a big deal about the fact that it is censored on the front of this game, on the front of this cover even. So compare and contrast will be very interesting. And again, it's an important part of computing history to see just what was going on back in the day. So that's going to be great, and I'm going to enjoy trying that out. Then we've got Quattro Power, another of the Quattro collection. So we have Pro Powerboat, ATV Simulator, Super G-Man. What's Super G-Man? And Moto X. Well, what's Super G-Man? Super G-Man, a smooth, fast action arcade game featuring real gravity. What? What? Real gravity? I don't know whether you can see the screenshots, but it appears to be some kind of side-scrolling thing. I don't know what this is about. This is going to be interesting. Let's put it that way. I need to see what that is. Super G-Man. And last but not least, Nuclear Defense for Amstrad CPC. This is one of Amsoft's big box releases. They eventually turned these to call them Amsoft Gold, but at the moment they haven't. An enemy attack has been launched. You can strike back, but will you survive? So yeah, take command of the UK's Nuclear Defence Initiative. Very interesting. Better look forward to playing that. And there's only a couple of things left. So let's quickly talk about this. This one was a present for Jen from Patrick. Thomas the Tank Engine Friends. Yay! Oh, engines to the rescue. This looks like it's the proper old stuff. Exclusive free train driver tub story from Tubber Dubbers. I have no idea what that is. So yeah, Thomas the Tank Engine. This looks like it's the pre-CGI, or if it's the CGI, it's the early CGI when it was done properly version of Thomas the Tank Engine. Should be interesting to look at. And last but not least, Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy Tertiary Phase. Really looking forward to hearing this. I've had the first set of these sent to me by Patrick, and now we've got this. Episodes especially extended for the CD version. So that's interesting. It's extended from the radio play. This will be really cool. Everything's here. The extra booklet is what I mean. And the CDs themselves. So yeah, I'm gonna listen to these and enjoy them. Again, it's lovely to have stuff like this to listen to when we're out on our travels. So thank you so much, Patrick, for sending all this. I really appreciate it, but my goodness, that's a lot of stuff. But before we go, and I say take care and all of that, are any of these games your favourites? Do you know about them? Is there anything here that you didn't know existed? Let me know in the comments about what you think, and I'll see you next time. But until then, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so that they'll know some good games when they see them, and do subscribe for future videos because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I wasn't watching anything. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk Robinson, you've been watching GameHammer Extra, keep it retro, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I'm knocking everything over. I'm so professional. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.